Hi, this is Ginny Maxon from OpenExcel Technolabs, a leading mobile app development company from India with offices in US. We've got 200 plus developers who have made no fewer than 800 plus apps in the last 6 years. Given that we're an app development company, we decided to discuss on the future of apps in 2017 and in the years ahead. This is important in the wake of ominous reports that suggest that apps are dying and the app gold rush is over. Sounds ridiculous, right? Given that we live in an app age. So we decided to do some fact finding here. First, let me admit that these reports are not entirely wrong. With the arrival of artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies such as chatbots, the existence of apps have been threatened. But more than anything else, what exactly is putting pressure on the app industry is the increasing app download deletion rates. According to CompuWare, 80 to 90% of the apps are deleted after their first use. So why are these apps being deleted at such a super fast rate after their first use? The reasons cited being are poor user experience, app crashes, bugs, too many ads, intrusive in-app purchases, boring apps, imitation apps, clone apps, so on and so forth. We start our day using Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp and we end our day doing the same. That means daily relevant social apps are still finding takers in the society, and these daily relevant social apps include business and finance apps, shopping apps, sports apps, in addition to social and messaging apps. According to Flurry reports, social and messaging apps registered 394% growth rate in 2016, while business apps and finance apps registered 43% growth in terms of in-time spent within apps, while sports app went up by 25% and business apps went up by 32%. Game apps declined by 4%, however. Even if you recount the early days of app development, the App Store was established in 2008 with just 552 apps. Within 6 months, 500 million app downloads were recorded. In January 2010, 1,50,000 apps were released, which meant 275 apps per day. This meant apps were being generated in wholesale numbers. All this aggressive app development led to the rise of imitation apps and clone apps. According to VentureBeat, there are about 600 task manager apps alone in iPhone, and one task manager app has been generated every single day. So what actually it means? It means that there are too many apps and only not even one worth our attention and time. Personalization apps suffered the most, while social and messaging apps gained at the expense of personalization apps thanks to their incredible networking capabilities. As you can see in the slide, social and messaging apps grew by 44%, while personalization apps gave up a staggering 46% in favor of the former. But then the things were not this bad earlier. In 2014, personalization apps did really well, followed by news and magazine apps and utility and productivity apps. But then, over a period of time, social and messaging apps bulldozed their way to the top, cannibalizing the established app lines. In short, apps had started eating other apps. People had started spending more and more time on top apps, including social and messaging apps. This meant unused, unwarranted apps increased at the app stores. So new apps were finding no takers at all. In fact, according to Sensor Tower reports, 47,300 apps were removed from the app stores in October 2016. This was in addition to the monthly average of 14,000 apps that were removed from the app stores from Jan to September 2016. With the rise in bad quality apps and the increasing app download deletion rates has put the industry at the crossroads today. Now the big question is how to take this industry forward in the face of these growing problems. Simple. The answer is simple, as in stop thinking of creating yet another blockbuster app. Rather focus all your time and energy in producing apps for app friendly platforms. Yes, there are app friendly platforms as well. And the first one is Internet of Things. Second one is augmented reality and virtual reality. Third is chatbots. Fourth is wearable technology. And the fifth one is screenless devices. Now talking about Internet of Things. According to Business Insider, about 34 billion gadgets will be connected to internet by 2020, up from 10 billion in 2015. According to Gartner's report, again about $2.5 million will be spent per minute on IoT devices, and about 1 million IoT devices will be sold every year by 2021. This means IoT will be revolutionizing our homes and offices and business in a huge way. So this is a good news for the app industry because apps are the one that is running this industry. Coming to the second platform, that is augmented reality and virtual reality. According to DigiDay reports, AR and VR could hit $150 billion by 2020, while AR would take a lion's share, that is about $120 billion, while VR could settle for about $30 billion. Again, according to Gartner's report, about 100 million consumers will be using AR for shopping purposes. In return, 20% of the retail market will be using AR for upselling and cross-selling purposes. And with Facebook acquiring Oculus Rift for $2 million, a huge boom in VR sector is also expected. All these factors are going to be a huge boost for the VR and AR sector, which is in turn going to drive the app sector as well. The next platform is chatbots. As you already know, 2017 has already been declared as the year of chatbots, the so-called enemy of apps. But then apps and chatbots share a symbiotic relationship with each existence depending on the other. Some of the leading bot development platforms include Facebook Messenger with 11,000 bots, followed by Slack, WeChat, Line, and many more. In short time, we'll have messenger bots to read and write messengers, food bots to order food, e-commerce bots to purchase goods and services, content bots to share content, and workflow bots to automate workflow, and so on and so forth. The fourth technology that we're going to talk about is wearable technology. Now, as you know, wearable technology is already raised thanks to some wearable devices such as Fitbit waist brands, Samsung Galaxy Gear, Pebble smartwatches, not to mention Google Glass. All these technologies are going to be a huge boost for the wearable sector, which is in turn going to propel the growth of the app industry. The fifth and the last sector that we are going to talk about today is screenless devices. New screenless devices such as Amazon Echo, Google Home, Apple AirPods are powered by voice-driven apps. The biggest plus point of these devices is that you don't have to sit around Google and search for things. Your voice is enough, and these devices powered by voice-driven apps will find relevant answers for you. According to Gartner's report, by 2020, Amazon Echo and Google Home will be used by 10 million homes. So this spells a huge opportunity for mobile app developers and app development companies across the globe. That brings us to the bottom line. Regardless of the growing concerns that apps are dying, the think tank at OpenExcel strongly believes that there is still a lot of life left in apps. It's just that the app developers and app development companies have to align their skill set with the market requirements. I love to end this video by quoting one of the legendary sports writers, Red Smith, who once mentioned, "Dying is not a big deal, living is a trick." In the app context, the trick is to make apps for newer developer platforms. This ensures that your apps have a longer shelf life. That's it. Thank you for hearing me out.